And welcome back to Variety's Pick of the Week, where we look at the state of the Winter Awards race. I'm Michael Schneider.
And I'm Danielle Turchiano. Today's Golden Globe nominees to discuss are in the musical or comedy series category for actor and actress. So I think we should dive right in with actor.
Yeah.
I mean, right off the bat, Michael Douglas from the Kominsky Method. He won the Globe last year and nominated again. Really strong contender. He also won the Cecil B. DeMille Award a few years ago, which obviously the voters love him.
But then you also have Barry, Bill Hader, who is a personal favorite, just a multi-threat, having written that show, created that show, and also starring in that show. So wouldn't be mad at that either.
Ben Platt is up for The Politician, freshman. It's in the comedy category, but it's a little bit of a dramedy from Ryan Murphy and Brad Falchuk. It's his first time nominated at the Golden Globes at all, and it's his first real TV role. It's such a joy to watch him burst onto the small screen after seeing him on stage for so many years. Yeah,
and maybe he'll come and sing at the Golden Globes as well. Speaking of new Netflix shows, you have Living with Yourself, the ever-young Paul Rudd, who plays himself and himself, dual roles in this series, and does quite well with it. It's a fun show. And of course, Paul Rudd is someone who's been in this business for a long time, someone who, you can't overlook.
And a more of a true newcomer, Rami Youssef. He created his Hulu show, Rami, and now is up for acting in it.
This was one of the biggest surprises of the nominations, and a pleasant surprise.
It was.
Rami, young up-and-coming comic who, really explores his personal life as an American Muslim, and it was such a refreshing show for Hulu, and so great to see Rami nominated in this category.
Is he your pick of the week?
He's my personal pick of the week. Predictably, I think Michael Douglas probably picks it up again just because, he seems like the kind of person who will keep winning Golden Globes. But I wouldn't be mad to see Rami up there. That would be fantastic.
I will say, along the lines of personal pick of the week, I would love to see Paul Rudd get this one.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, he's playing himself twice. He plays a character named Miles, and basically Miles' is clone. As the show goes on, he really starts to merge the two as they get new perspective from each other, and it just feels like such a rare feat to see somebody do that much character work. Everyone has to do character work for one. He's doing it for two. And often opposite himself in a scene.
No, absolutely. To be number one and number two on the call sheet is pretty amazing.
Exactly.
Well, let's turn over to the actress side now and kick things off with another new Netflix show. Netflix,
so
this is a
many
trend,
Netflix
right?
shows.
Christina Applegate, who of course is very familiar to TV fans and of course voters as well, for Dead to Me, which was another interesting show, almost in the same lines as Living with Yourself, as sort of a unique take on a story.
Agree, and I mean, she was nominated at the Emmys, and this is obviously just continued recognition, which will hopefully lead the show into more momentum for season 2. One of, I think, the biggest contenders in this category just has to be Rachel Brosnahan. She's won for the last 2 years in a row. She's up again for the 3rd season of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which she goes on a comedy tour, which kind of expands the worldview of the show, expands the characters' worldview, and just really adds to the types of comedy she's delivering, and also the challenges that she has, both with her manager, played by Alex Borstein, and her family, who she's left back home.
And then we have one of your favorites, Kirsten Dunst.
I know, we talked about this in an earlier pick of the week, on Becoming a God in Central Florida. Just such a quirky and dark show where she, has to embody this single mother who's trying to achieve the American dream through a pyramid scheme. It just feels like such refreshing territory. You don't see a lot of that on television, and this is her first time in the comedy category on the TV side of the race, so I think that might maybe give her a little heat. We'll see. It might be a little early.
And then speaking of more unique comedies, and this has been a great year not only for original comedies, but original comedies fronted by women. Natasha Lyonne, who's one of the co-creators of Russian Doll and also The Star, is nominated, and that was another just fantastic show, a unique take on sort of the Groundhog's Day style story, and she just did such a great job.
Absolutely. The last nominee in the category is Phoebe Waller-Bridge from Fleabag.
Oh, we've heard about her.
Of course. Maybe. I mean, it's so fascinating because this is the 2nd season and most likely the last, given things that she has said. And it feels like she's the kind of performer, and this is the kind of show that the HFPA would have loved from the jump. And for whatever reason, they just overlooked in season 1. And so now she's in the running with season 2. And coming off a huge Emmy win and the show sweeping almost all of the comedy categories at the Emmys, it just feels like there's no stopping Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
I think that's absolutely right. So who's your pick?
Oh, so hard for this category. I know. If I'm going to go personal personal for this category, I would go Kirsten Dunst on Becoming a God in Central Florida. Uniqueness to the show, the newness to the show. She really, taps into a variety of emotions, from the kind of every woman to the more simmering rage that you don't see much on television, but I find very refreshing.
Yeah. Well, I'm torn once again because I think Phoebe Waller-Bridge probably has a leg up this year.
Sure.
She may break the Rachel Brosnahan streak, but she won so many Emmys already. I would love to see Natasha Lyonne up there and get some recognition as well for that first season of Russian Doll. It was such a fantastic, groundbreaking season, and I can't wait to see what they do with the second season of that. So that's it for our Pick of the Week this week. For the latest breaking news, visit Variety.com. I'm Michael Schneider.
And I'm Danielle Turchiano. Thanks for joining us.